Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Many fruits have a similar vibe. You get some variations in color and texture, but round is pretty much the regular shape. Even the tomato, which I grew up being taught was a vegetable, wants to get in with the fruit group. And upon quick glance, we're like, sure, whatever, you seem to fit the description. And then there's the pineapple. Compared to most fruits, pineapples are weird. Unfortunately, weird isn't usually a compliment. Before I take the stage for speech at the very end of my introduction, there's a passage that talks about me spending time with my beautiful wife and 3 weird kids. It's always fun and telling to see how the introducer handles this bit. Sometimes they read it as is, but other times they're quick to uncomfortably interject, I didn't write that. I even had some people who eliminate it altogether. Ultimately, I exclaimed to them that in our household, being called weird is a badge of honor. For example, one day my wife was telling my oldest daughter that it's okay to be weird. It makes life more interesting, she said. And like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the things that make us weird are often our greatest superpowers. She informed Lucy that being weird makes life better. The next day we heard Lucy asking her little brother, Ben, are you weird? No, he replied innocently. Then you're going to have a horrible life, she said. Now, don't get me wrong, it is possible to be too weird. Licking the salt from almonds and putting them back in the bowl, kind of weird. Or owning 37 cats and dressing them all to look like Taylor Swift, weird. That's a little bit too weird. So the rule of thumb in our family is that you should shoot for 93% weird. Anything after that is just too much. The cold hard truth is that most of us aren't anywhere near that level of weird. When we were kids, at the very beginning, we were all weird. We made up weird games, had weird bedtime routines, enjoyed weird hobbies, and dressed up in weird clothes and weird combinations. But eventually, someone sees us living our bliss, decides it's weird, and shames us. We get made fun of in the schoolyard, on the bus, or across the dinner table. And for the first time, it occurs to us that some of the things we do might be looked upon with contempt by another person. From then on, we start paying attention. We start noticing what's in and what's not. We take heed of the things that could get us ridiculed, singled out, and shamed. And we stop doing them. We smooth out the rough edges and start hiding our weirdness. And one by one, little parts of us die. Possibly the greatest tragedy of our lives is that we spend so much time conforming to the world around us just to avoid that feeling of shame ever again. And the world is worse off for it. People only have the power to shame us if we give it to them. When we surrender our weird, we are imprisoning ourselves and handing over the key. It's too expensive to pay attention to what everyone else thinks, because when we do, and as adultitis settles in, our choices become limited. Our possibilities shrink. Our life becomes boring. We need to embrace our weird. About 93% worth. Do that and you'll realize you're not weird. You're free.